Starlink launches aren't just rocket science. They're rewriting the rules of internet access, influencing geopolitics, igniting fierce debates in tech circles, and changing the night sky itself. But do they merit all this attention? Or is there more to the story than meets the eye? Let's dive into why these missions matter so profoundly for SpaceX and for all of us. Here's the heart of it. Starlink is SpaceX's breakthrough satellite internet service, transforming life for millions, especially those in isolated locations where traditional broadband just can't reach. Thousands of Starlink satellites now circle our planet, swelling the population of active satellites more than tenfold in under a decade. SpaceX uses Starlink not just to stream crystal-clear launch footage, but also to bankroll its audacious Starship development, the rocket Elon Musk sees as humanity's ticket to the stars. SpaceX launches Starlink satellites from Florida at a dizzying pace, sometimes 1 or 2 missions each week. The satellites swarm Earth in such numbers, it's become routine. Yet many still ask, what exactly is Starlink? At its core, Starlink consists of hundreds and now thousands of satellites launched by SpaceX, offering high-speed internet nearly anywhere. This means that even if you're in the wilderness, atop a remote mountain, or cruising at sea, a Starlink dish can keep you online. It's available for homes and businesses across the United States and beyond. Here's an eye-opening fact. In 2014, there were only about 1,300 operational satellites worldwide. Today, according to Harvard-Smithsonian astrophysicist Jonathan McDowell, that figure has rocketed past 12,000, a leap mostly driven by SpaceX's Starlink satellites. So what happens during a typical Starlink launch? The first batch flew in May 2019, sending 60 satellites into orbit atop a Falcon 9 rocket from Florida. These days, launches feature smaller groups, usually in the 20s per flight. Why the drop in numbers per launch? SpaceX hasn't spelled it out, but the newer Starlink satellites, called V2 Minis, boast roughly 4 times the capacity of earlier versions. SpaceX's launch pads in Florida and California are firing on all cylinders, with over 60 Starlink missions completed already this year. The next launch? It's scheduled for Thursday, August 14th. But here's where things get interesting. The reach of Starlink goes far beyond land. It's accessible to travelers, rural residents, and even astronauts. The basic equipment starts at $349, and monthly plans begin at $80. There's a slick portable option, the Starlink Mini, which fits in a backpack and reportedly hits speeds of 280 plus Mbps, making it competitive with 5G cellular internet. Certain airlines use Starlink to power in-flight Wi-Fi for passengers, while private astronauts, like those on the Fram 2 mission in March 2025, leaned on Starlink for real-time updates during their historic trek around Earth's polar regions. Now, onto a controversial topic: Starlink's role in global politics. Musk's Starlink has become essential to his sprawling business empire, and his political affiliations bring drama. He donated millions to Donald Trump's campaign and even briefly served in a government reform role before political tensions flared. Musk's involvement in Ukraine's wartime communications made headlines. He supplied thousands of Starlink terminals to aid Ukrainians, then later raised concerns about their potential use for military offense. This stirred debate about one private individual controlling such important infrastructure. As a result, some regions are trying to move away from depending on Starlink. Should a single entrepreneur wield so much influence over global connectivity during crises? Even the United States isn't immune. Musk recently threatened to deactivate SpaceX's Dragon capsule during a public spat with Trump, briefly putting NASA's ability to launch astronauts at risk before backing down. It raises tough questions about reliance on private technology for national needs. But here's the side of Starlink many overlook: its value during natural disasters. When hurricanes devastated regions or Texas faced recent catastrophic flooding, Starlink stepped in, providing portable kits for search and rescue teams and offering free service to thousands temporarily displaced. Satellite internet becomes critical when conventional networks fail, reminding us that connectivity can save lives as well as entertain. Of course, not everyone is singing Starlink's praises. Astronomers face new challenges as fleets of satellites, sometimes visibly streaking across the twilight sky in the hours after launch, interfere with sensitive observations. Long-exposure astrophotography can be spoiled by these so-called Starlink trains, forcing costly edits and raising questions about balancing private enterprise with the needs of science. SpaceX is working on solutions like low reflectivity coatings, but the debate persists. How much is too much in orbit? By the numbers, Starlink has changed the game. There are currently more than 8,000 Starlink satellites in orbit, with the total growing rapidly. SpaceX once aimed for 11,000 by the end of 2024, but has fallen short of that goal, with nearly 8,000 reported launches as of February 2025, including replacements for satellites that have deorbited over the years. SpaceX hasn't disclosed updated targets. Financially, Starlink has become SpaceX's cash cow. Musk himself credits Starlink supporters for helping secure the future of civilization and make humanity a spacefaring species. In 2023, Starlink reached break-even cash flow. Musk claims SpaceX will bring in $15.5 billion in revenue this year, eclipsing NASA's budget next year, according to his projections. And while not all that income comes from Starlink, it remains SpaceX's largest moneymaker. Musk has teased a future Starlink public offering, but details remain elusive. What about SpaceX's rockets? Starlink serves a double role. Its satellites beam high-quality launch and booster recovery footage for fans worldwide, while its revenue underpins the development of Starship, SpaceX's next-generation, fully reusable rocket system designed for trips to Mars and lunar landings for NASA's Artemis missions. Recent demolition at Florida's Cape Canaveral cleared space for a Starship launch complex, as SpaceX eyes the future with ambitious aspirations. Musk even hopes to install Starlink service on Mars someday, though he admits communication delays of 3 to 22 minutes will be unavoidable due to vast interplanetary distances. But here's the twist. Starlink isn't alone in this new frontier. Jeff Bezos, through Amazon's $10 billion Project Kuiper initiative, is launching his own satellite internet constellation. Amazon's operations at Kennedy Space Center prepare satellites for flights from Cape Canaveral. And Project Kuiper aims to deploy 3,200 satellites. They've already sent up 78 satellites on ULA and SpaceX rockets, with public service rolling out later this year. So, who will win this high-stakes rivalry, SpaceX or Amazon? Next Starlink launch? Mark your calendar for Thursday, August 14th at 6:47 a.m. from Cape Canaveral Space Force.